picture this, a family dinner. Everyone's just laughing and telling stories and, making plans.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly 2 family members just vanish.
Oh, wow.
A young mother and her toddler.
Yeah.
Just no trace, no explanation.
Wow.
And that's the reality we're diving into today.
Yeah.
It's the case of Jasmine Lovett
Okay.
and her 22-month-old daughter, Aliyah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in Calgary, Canada for this one.
Okay.
And, our sources are painting this picture
Right.
of a love story gone terribly wrong
Oh, geez.
with twists and turns that I think are really going to leave you questioning everything.
Yeah. What's so fascinating to me about this case
Yeah.
is how fast it just went from like a seemingly normal life,
Right.
into this horrifying mystery.
Yeah.
We've got court transcripts, we've got news articles, we've even got a dedicated episode from a popular true crime podcast,
Oh, wow.
all providing pieces of the puzzle, you know?
So let's start by
Yeah.
getting to know Jasmine a little bit.
Yeah.
She was in her mid-20s,
Okay.
full of life,
Mhm.
loved playing pranks,
Yeah.
bringing joy to everyone around her.
Yeah.
And Aliyah, her daughter,
Mm-hmm.
was clearly the center of her world. Family was everything to Jasmine.
Yeah.
She was very close to her mother and her sister.
Mm-hmm.
And that bond really comes into play as the story unfolds.
And that's what makes her disappearance so alarming.
Right.
A young mother deeply connected to her family suddenly going silent,
Yeah.
missing family dinners,
Right.
completely out of character. This
Yeah.
wasn't someone who would just drift away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when Robert Leeming enters the picture.
Okay.
He was Jasmine's boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
about 10 years older than her.
Okay.
And, by all accounts, it seemed like they had this whirlwind romance.
All right.
They moved in together after just a month of dating,
Wow.
which, that's red flag number 1, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
It's important to remember, though, that, looking at the sources, we get
Uh-huh.
kind of these conflicting glimpses into their relationship.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seemed like a genuine love story.
Yeah.
Robert was described as being very attentive to Aliyah,
Right.
almost like stepping into a fatherly role.
Right.
But then there was a breakup.
Yeah.
They continued to live together as roommates.
Okay.
And it's really unclear if they ever fully reconciled.
So there's a lot of ambiguity there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And as we dig deeper into Robert's past, those red flags we mentioned,
Oh.
they start waving a lot more frantically.
Okay.
His ex-wife, for instance, accuses him of emotional abuse and neglect.
Mm-hmm.
She paints this picture of him as being controlling and manipulative.
Yeah, and when we talk about domestic violence,
Yeah.
we see this pattern a lot of
Yeah.
escalating behavior.
Yeah.
What might start as emotional abuse
Right.
can unfortunately turn physical.
Right.
Especially when possessiveness or jealousy is involved.
And his past definitely raises some concerns.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on top of that, he also has an animal cruelty conviction.
What?
Yeah. He abandoned a dog tied to a tree
Oh my God.
without food or water.
Oh, that's awful.
And it's a pretty chilling act that, I think speaks volumes about his capacity for empathy.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And then to add to that unease,
Yeah.
his ex-wife found some disturbing internet searches on his phone.
Oh, no.
One was related to the dog incident,
Okay.
which is unsettling enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one,
Yeah.
and this is where it gets really disturbing,
Okay.
was about a mother and child dying in a house fire.
Oh my gosh.
It just sends chills down my spine.
I can imagine.
Like, what could possibly be going through someone's mind to search for something like that?
Yeah. Like, is that just curiosity?
Yeah.
Or is there something more there?
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely something that raises some questions.
Yeah, it does.
So let's rewind a little bit
Okay.
and retrace the timeline of Jasmine and Aliyah's disappearance. So it all starts after that family dinner. Yeah. On April 14th, 2019.
Okay.
They were seen on CCTV the next day, shopping at a grocery store,
Yeah.
just, seeming to go about their day normally.
Right.
But then after April 16th,
Yeah.
they vanished.
Without a trace.
Yeah, and the circumstances surrounding their disappearance
Yeah.
are just full of suspicious clues.
Right.
Unanswered calls, a window suddenly covered in cellophane,
Right.
wet sneakers, and a car trunk liner
Yeah.
left out to dry.
It just all points to a frantic attempt to conceal something terrible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And when the police finally get access to the house,
Mm-hmm.
after several attempts to contact Robert,
Yeah.
his behavior is, to put it mildly, strange.
Okay.
He claims that Jasmine's with her sister.
Oh,
Despite the evidence clearly contradicting that,
wow.
he's evasive.
Mm-hmm.
He's almost flippant.
Okay.
He seems more concerned about the police potentially damaging his house than the fact that his girlfriend and her child are missing.
Oh, wow.
It's like he's totally detached from the gravity of the situation.
Yeah, it's
Like he's almost trying to play a role.
Yeah.
But he can't quite get it right.
And, this is one of those classic examples of how deceptive appearances can be. We see it all the time in cases like this, Someone presents this facade of normalcy,
right?
But they're harboring this dark secret underneath.
Right, and in this case, those secrets are about to unravel.
Oh, boy.
In a truly shocking way.
Uh-oh.
Thanks to a very brilliant move by the police.
Oh, okay, so what did they do?
So faced with a lack of direct evidence, the investigators decided to employ this remarkable tactic, an undercover operation.
Oh, wow.
Designed to play directly into Robert's ego.
Okay.
And ultimately lead him to confess.
I see.
So these undercover officers befriended Robert.
Okay.
They posed as fellow criminals who admired his ability to outsmart the police.
Okay.
They even fabricated this story about a neighbor finding incriminating evidence.
Ah, geez.
And they offered to help him dispose of it.
Wow,
It was a really high-stakes gamble.
Big risk.
But it paid off.
Wow.
Robert, eager to impress his new criminal associates, began boasting about his actions.
Oh.
And he revealed all these chilling details about how he disposed of Jasmine and Eliah's bodies.
So he confessed.
Yeah, and his confession is bone-chilling.
Yeah.
He describes driving their bodies to this remote area near Bragg Creek, drenching them in gasoline,
oh my God,
burying them under mulch, all in this desperate attempt to evade those cadaver dogs.
Yeah, he was trying to cover his tracks.
And then there's this detail about the bacon.
The bacon. What?
He scattered bacon throughout his house.
Why would he do that?
Because he believed that pork smells like human flesh.
What? Oh, my goodness.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
But it's also oddly revealing because it suggests that his mind is capable of both calculated action. But also bizarre, potentially delusional thinking.
Yeah. So is this like a strange, twisted logic?
Right.
Or just like a desperate attempt at a cover-up?
It's almost too bizarre to comprehend.
Yeah, it really makes you question everything you think you know about him.
Right.
And it makes you wonder, could this tragedy have been prevented?
And that's what we'll be exploring as we continue to delve into this deeply disturbing story.
I can't wait to hear more.
It just strikes me as we uncover more about this case.
Yeah.
How insidious domestic violence can be.
Right.
It's not always blatant or obvious. There are these periods of what seems like normalcy, even affection.
Right.
But then it's intertwined with all of this controlling behavior and abuse.
That's a really good point. And that complexity makes it even harder for victims to even recognize the danger.
Right.
Let alone, find the strength to seek help. It's this tragic cycle that can escalate so quickly.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to think about what Jasmine and Eliah must have endured.
I know.
Especially knowing what we know now about Robert's past.
Yeah, and those details from his confession are just chilling.
Yeah.
He actually took the undercover officers to the burial site.
Oh, wow.
Almost like he was taking pride in his actions.
Yeah, it's like he was living in this strange, detached reality where he thought he could just outsmart everybody.
Yeah, and that delusion or, maybe calculated manipulation is what leads him to the courtroom.
Right.
So at the trial, Robert enters a guilty plea for Jasmine's murder.
Okay.
But he insists that Eliah's death was an accident.
Oh, wow.
A tragic fall down the stairs.
But the medical evidence tells a different story.
Yeah, the autopsy revealed injuries that weren't consistent with a fall.
Right.
And tragically, there was evidence of possible sexual abuse as well.
Oh, my God.
Just adding another layer of horror to this already devastating case.
It's just beyond comprehension.
Yeah. The prosecution's theory was that Jasmine came home and discovered Robert abusing Eliah.
Oh, gosh.
Which led to a confrontation and him killing both of them.
It's just a truly horrific scenario to even think about.
It really is.
And while Robert, tried to maintain this narrative of an accident.
Right.
Or, a fit of rage.
Yeah.
The judge saw right through it.
Exactly. So the judge ultimately found Robert guilty of second-degree murder for Eliah's death as well.
Okay.
And it's important to note that second-degree murder in Canada means that the killing wasn't premeditated, but it was still intentional.
Right.
And the judge really emphasized that Robert was an unreliable witness.
Yeah.
And the evidence really pointed to, deliberate harm.
So in the legal sense, justice was served. Robert was sentenced to life in prison.
Okay.
With possibility of parole after 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, no amount of prison time can ever really bring back Jasmine and Elia.
Right.
Or erase the pain that their family has suffered.
And that's where the family's strength and resilience really come in.
Yeah.
They channeled their grief into something positive, raising money for women's shelters.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and establishing a scholarship in Jasmine's name.
Wow.
They turned this unimaginable tragedy into a force for good.
It's truly inspiring. They're working to ensure that Jasmine and Elia's story doesn't end with their deaths, but it serves as this catalyst for change.
Yeah.
To prevent other families from experiencing this heartbreak.
And their efforts really highlight how important it is to raise awareness about domestic violence.
Right.
To be able to recognize those warning signs.
Yeah.
And to provide support for the victims.
Yeah, this case is just a stark reminder that it can happen anywhere to anyone.
Absolutely.
It often hides behind closed doors.
Yeah, and that makes it all the more important for us to speak up, intervene, and offer help to those who might be in danger.
It really is. And it just makes you realize, you could be that friend, that family member, that coworker who notices those signs.
Yes, exactly.
And, if we educate ourselves, we're willing to have those tough conversations and support the organizations that are working so hard to end domestic violence. And we can all play a part in creating a safer world.
Absolutely. And this deep dive has been just so informative.
Yeah.
It's also really emotional.
It really is.
It's a reminder that Jasmine and Elia's story is a tragic example of the devastating impact of domestic violence.
It is.
And what's really important to remember is that this isn't just an isolated incident.
Right.
This happens all the time, all over the world.
You're right. And recognizing those warning signs, it can be incredibly challenging.
It really can.
It's not always clear-cut.
Right.
And there's this interplay of emotions and manipulation and fear.
One of the key takeaways, I think, is open communication. We need to create safe spaces where victims can feel comfortable coming forward.
And fostering that culture of support, not judgment.
Right.
Because, victims often feel that shame and guilt, fear of retaliation.
Yeah.
So we need to make sure that they feel empowered to seek help.
And remember, support doesn't have to be some big, grand gesture.
Right.
Sometimes it's just listening without judging.
Yeah.
Offering a shoulder to cry on.
Right.
Helping connect them with resources.
Exactly.
Even those little things can make a huge difference.
It's just about being present and being empathetic. And just letting them know they're not alone.
Exactly.
Another crucial takeaway, I think, is early intervention.
Yes, definitely.
We saw in this case how escalating behavior can lead to devastating consequences.
And those early signs, even if it just seems like, emotional abuse or controlling behavior should never be dismissed.
Right.
Because that can be an indication of a much larger problem.
It's so crucial to address those red flags proactively. Seek professional help.
Yeah.
Create a safety plan
for
those at risk.
This has been such an enlightening, but also heart-wrenching deep dive.
It really has.
I keep thinking about Jasmine and Elia.
Yeah.
And how their stories had such a ripple effect.
Yeah, and their families' just strength and dedication to turning their pain into something positive is just remarkable.
It's really inspiring.
It really is.
Their story is a powerful reminder that we can all be agents of change.
Yes.
We can educate ourselves. We can challenge those societal norms that allow domestic violence to continue.
Right.
We can support the people on the front lines, fighting for a safer, more just world.
So as we conclude our deep dive today, let's let their story be a call to action.
Absolutely.
Let's honor their memory by working together. To break the cycle of violence and create a future where everyone can live free from fear.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.